If you don't teach a baby to walk, will it ever learn, or will the person crawl their whole life? No, you don't really have to teach them. They start trying to pull themselves up on anything they can reach when they're tiny. And then once they can, they walk when they're strong enough. Walk at the same developmentally appropriate age as children with sight. No delay whatsoever. I read a study about it many years ago because I had the same exact question. Babies kinda just figure it out, man. I mean, we help them out. But babies with neglectful or abusive parents learn to walk all the same. I suppose it depends on the kid. Some kids absolutely try walking sooner than they are able, and pick it up pretty quickly with some guidance. So it's possible they could eventually learn on their own. As another commenter mentioned, feral children do exist, but definitive data is a bit hard to come by. Some feral children were raised by animals from infancy, and learned to walk on their own. But again, others preferred to run on all fours, even when back in human society. So, just like pretty everything else with humans, it entirely depends on the individual human. It probably depends on the person, and whether crawling serves their needs. According to my parents, I preferred scooting around on my ass to crawling. They thought I'd never learn to walk. They'd set me on my feet. I'd sit down. They tried walkers. I'd never move. As an infant and toddler, I also spent more time with the family dogs, mostly huskies, than my parents. The dogs decided they needed me on my feet to get them stuff from the kitchen. So the dogs started trying to get me to stand up. They would lay next to me, and anytime I would grab onto them, they would slowly stand up and pull me to my feet. Then they would try to get me to the kitchen. If I let go and sat down, they'd start over. Eventually, I would walk along with them, until I started walking without clinging to my support husky, and I can still scoot pretty fast. There are several documented cases of feral children having been raised by wolves or other quadrupeds, and the children walk on all fours. It might be possible for them to learn to walk upright on their own without mimicking humans. But I don't know if enough evidence exists to determine this, or if it ever will, since willingly inflicting this on a child in order to study it would be inhumane. Sure, they also crawl without observing it or being taught. You really don't teach them to crawl or walk. They just do it, although some skip crawling altogether. Nobody teaches a baby to walk. They observe and they copy, all on their own. You don't teach kids to walk. They just do it. It's like how baby birds jump out of a nest and fly. It's just instinctual. As a parent, the amount of things kids learn on their own just from watching others is incredible. As long as they see others walking and don't have any physical reason that they can't, they will learn to walk on their own. Organisms are drawn to move in ways that are energy efficient for their structure. Unless there is some deformity or environmental consideration, I'm sure the baby will figure it out. Probably, but the gait would probably more what we would consider to be animalistic. https:/en.m.wikipedia.org/wiki/feralchild. There have been cases where children were raised in the wild by animals, and they walk on hands and feet. So children that don't see the example of humans walking on 2 feet won't try to learn to walk this way. There's no teaching, it's natural instinct. If there are reasons why it is advantageous for the baby to walk, then it will teach itself to walk without any help. Typical reasons are needing to reach things that it wants or seeing other humans, parents and other children, walking and wanting to be like them. Most babies in human society will learn to walk on their own. As a contrast, Those babies that have been left to fend themselves without human contact, so-called feral children, tend to adopt the posture of the animals they spend most time with. A number of feral children that have been discovered have been found to only be able to walk on all fours. Yes, they will learn to walk. Walking is an instinct, and while you might want to help them practice, there's no need for it. You don't teach a baby to walk. One day they just stand up, typically by using stuff to pull themselves to standing. It depends on many factors. If you don't stimulate the child, well, baby, go to mommy, then yes, the child will calmly learn to get up first, then walk in order to reach a toy, for example. But if he doesn't see people at all and grows up next to animals, he will start parodying animals. Then the child will walk like a wolf or a monkey. If you are interested, then read about real Mowgli children. I have a 7-month-old who's doing everything in her willpower to stand. It comes naturally.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.